My beloved child. Stop for a moment. Do not rush away from this message, because what you are about to hear has a purpose far greater than simple coincidence. If these words have reached you today, then there is a reason your path crossed this moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Every sentence you hear will uncover another hidden piece of a story that has been quietly unfolding beyond your sight. There was a conversation that was never meant to reach your ears. A quiet gathering. A meeting that happened behind closed doors. Voices were lowered. Eyes searched for answers. Names were spoken carefully. Among all those names, yours carried an unexpected weight. It was not because of your possessions or your status. It was because your presence had begun to change something that others could no longer ignore. You have sensed it, haven't you? The strange feeling that something has been happening beneath the surface. The unexpected silence. The delayed conversations. The unusual distance. Moments that never quite made sense. You questioned yourself, wondering whether your instincts were simply imagining things. But sometimes your heart notices what your eyes cannot yet see. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This is not a story about fear. It is a story about hidden choices, quiet conversations, and unexpected turns that often happen before an important chapter begins. Sometimes people gather because they are uncertain. Sometimes they gather because they believe they can influence a future they do not fully understand. And sometimes they gather simply because your name carries more importance than you realize. Picture a room where every person has a different opinion. One voice speaks with confidence. Another hesitates. Someone remains completely silent, listening more than speaking. Questions begin to fill the room. Should this continue? Is this the right path? What happens if everything changes? No one notices that every answer somehow circles back to you. At first, it seemed like an ordinary discussion. But slowly the atmosphere changed. Every new sentence revealed emotions that had been hidden for a long time. Some believed distance would solve everything. Others quietly wondered whether keeping two people apart would only make the connection stronger. The room became divided, not by anger, but by uncertainty. Have you ever noticed how the most important moments in life often begin without any announcement? There are no loud sounds. No dramatic entrances. Only quiet decisions that slowly shape tomorrow. That is exactly why this story matters. Because while everything appeared normal on the outside, invisible choices were already beginning to influence the future. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One person finally spoke words that changed the direction of the entire meeting. What if we are misunderstanding everything? Silence filled the room. For the first time, no one answered immediately. Another voice followed. What if keeping them apart creates the very outcome we are trying to avoid? Again, silence. It was as though every person suddenly realized they had been looking at the situation from only one side. Questions replaced certainty. Confidence became hesitation. the discussion no longer felt simple. It became deeply personal. Meanwhile, you continued living your ordinary day, completely unaware that your name had become the center of an unexpected conversation. You smiled. You worked. You rested. You wondered why certain things felt delayed. Yet behind the scenes, unseen decisions were still unfolding. Life often works this way. We rarely witness the conversations that shape tomorrow. We only notice their results much later. That is why patience sometimes protects answers that rushing could never reveal. There was one individual in that meeting who never argued loudly. They simply observed every expression, every pause, every reaction. When everyone else finished speaking, this person quietly said something that no one expected. You cannot separate what has already begun growing in the heart. Those words changed the atmosphere completely. No one interrupted. No one laughed. No one disagreed. The room became unusually still, as though every person was reflecting on something they had never considered before. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. From that moment onward, the conversation no longer focused on creating distance. Instead, it shifted toward understanding why this connection had become so difficult to ignore. Every memory was revisited. Every misunderstanding was examined. Every assumption was questioned. Sometimes people believe they fully understand a story until one honest sentence changes everything. Perhaps that is exactly what has been happening around you. Perhaps what looked like rejection was actually confusion. Perhaps what appeared to be silence was someone searching for clarity. Perhaps what felt like delay was simply the time needed for hidden conversations to reach a different conclusion. The meeting continued longer than anyone expected. Every passing minute uncovered another layer of truth. No dramatic promises were made. No impossible predictions were spoken. Only one realization slowly became impossible to ignore. The future could not be decided by fear. It had to be shaped by honesty. And honesty has a remarkable way of finding its path, even when people try to avoid it. As the meeting finally came to an end, every person walked away carrying more questions than answers. Yet one thing had undeniably changed. The atmosphere they entered with was not the atmosphere they left behind. Something had shifted. Quietly. Deeply. Permanently. You still know nothing about this conversation. Not yet. But the first ripple has already begun moving toward you. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Because what happened after everyone left that room would surprise even the people who believed they already knew the entire story. Just when everyone believed the meeting had ended, something completely unexpected happened. One person remained behind. While the others quietly walked away, this individual looked back at the empty room as though an unfinished thought refused to disappear. That final moment changed everything. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened next was not loud, dramatic, or obvious. It was quiet enough that almost no one noticed it, but sometimes the smallest moments become the turning points that shape the biggest chapters of life. The room was silent now. The chairs were empty. The conversations had faded. Yet one voice echoed inside that person's mind. What if we have misunderstood the entire situation? Those words refused to leave. Every opinion that had sounded convincing only minutes earlier suddenly felt incomplete. For the first time, someone began looking at your story from a completely different perspective. Instead of asking how people could create distance, they started asking why your connection had continued to survive every obstacle placed before it. Every answer pointed toward something deeper than coincidence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That person quietly gathered every note from the meeting and began reading them once again. With every page, a new realization appeared. The facts had not changed, but the meaning behind them had. Small details that everyone ignored suddenly became impossible to overlook. Kindness that seemed ordinary now appeared extraordinary. Patience that once looked unnoticed now seemed incredibly valuable. Even your silence began telling a story that words never could. It became clear that people often judge a journey before understanding its purpose. Hours passed, yet that single person could not stop thinking about everything they had discovered. Finally, they made a quiet decision that no one else knew about. Instead of allowing confusion to continue, they chose to search for the complete truth. Not half the story. Not rumors. Not assumptions. The complete truth. That single decision became the beginning of something no one in the meeting had expected. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the search continued, unexpected pieces began fitting together like a puzzle that had waited a long time to be completed. Conversations from months ago suddenly made sense. Forgotten memories returned with new meaning. Small moments that looked ordinary now carried extraordinary importance. It became impossible to ignore one remarkable pattern. Every attempt to create distance had somehow revealed the strength of the connection instead of weakening it. The realization surprised everyone who discovered it. Some connections become clearer only after they are tested by silence. Some journeys become stronger only after they pass through uncertainty. Some stories become unforgettable because they refuse to end where everyone expected them to. The person who stayed behind understood this before anyone else. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They quietly whispered, perhaps this story is only beginning. Those simple words carried more weight than anyone could imagine. Because at that exact moment, somewhere far away, another conversation had already started, one that would soon cross paths with everything discussed in the secret meeting. Neither group knew the other existed. Yet both conversations were moving toward the same destination, like two rivers preparing to meet after traveling different roads. Sometimes life works with remarkable timing. Sometimes answers begin appearing before questions are fully understood, sometimes people believe they are writing the ending, when in reality they are standing at the beginning of a brand new chapter. And this was one of those moments. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. If this story has already captured your attention, take a brief moment to subscribe, share this video with someone who enjoys meaningful stories like this, and let this journey continue reaching people who may need hope today. The next part becomes even more surprising, because a message hidden for a long time is finally about to reach the person it was always meant for. The quiet decision made after that secret meeting had already begun changing everything, even though no one realized it yet. There is one detail that no one expected to uncover, and it changed the meaning of the entire secret meeting. The conversation was never only about creating distance. Hidden beneath every opinion was something far more surprising, a growing realization that the truth had been incomplete from the very beginning. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Every second from this moment forward brings you closer to the part that almost no one saw coming. The person who quietly searched for the truth refused to stop. Every question led to another answer, and every answer opened another door. Soon, forgotten conversations resurfaced. Small acts of kindness that once seemed ordinary suddenly became impossible to ignore. Every memory pointed toward the same conclusion: someone had been protecting a story that deserved to be understood instead of judged. As the pieces continued coming together, one remarkable discovery stood above all the others. During the secret meeting, everyone had focused on what might happen next, but no one had stopped to ask why your name carried such unusual importance. That question finally received an answer. It wasn't because of a single moment. It wasn't because of one conversation. It was because your influence had quietly reached people in ways you never realized. The way you treated others, the patience you showed during uncertain times, the hope you continued carrying when no clear answers appeared. Those quiet qualities had become part of conversations you were never present to hear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something even more unexpected happened. A forgotten letter was discovered among old papers from months before. It was not dramatic. It was not filled with extraordinary promises. Yet one simple sentence inside that letter made everyone stop reading for a moment. Some connections grow stronger when they are given time instead of pressure. The room became silent once again. No one argued. No one rushed to respond. Instead, every person began reflecting on how often they had mistaken delay for failure. They realized that waiting had not been working against the story, it had been preparing it. At that very moment, another surprising truth became impossible to ignore. The people who had once believed separation was the safest path were now quietly asking a completely different question. What if bringing understanding instead of distance creates a better future? That single question transformed the entire direction of the story. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Meanwhile, you continued living an ordinary day, unaware that perspectives were changing behind the scenes. You noticed small moments that felt different without understanding why. A conversation seemed warmer than expected. A familiar place suddenly reminded you of hope instead of uncertainty. Tiny changes began appearing, almost too small to notice, yet together they formed the beginning of something meaningful. Sometimes the greatest changes arrive quietly. They don't announce themselves. They simply begin. And by the time we recognize them, they have already reshaped the road ahead. The person who stayed behind after the meeting finally closed the folder containing every note and every question. They smiled. Not because every mystery had been solved, but because they now understood that the story deserved patience instead of assumptions. Then they whispered one final sentence. The next conversation must include the truth. Those words marked the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Because somewhere else, someone had already decided it was finally time to speak honestly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next conversation will reveal a truth that has remained hidden until now, and once those words are finally spoken, nothing about this story will feel the same again. Everything changed the moment the next conversation finally began. No one expected it to happen so soon, yet the timing could not have been more perfect. The person who had quietly uncovered the hidden truth carried only one purpose: to replace assumptions with honesty. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The most important moment of this entire story is beginning right now, and every word from here leads toward an unforgettable discovery. The room felt completely different from the first secret meeting. There were no hurried opinions. No one interrupted. No one rushed to reach a conclusion. Instead, every person listened more carefully than ever before. The silence was no longer uncomfortable, it was thoughtful. Everyone had realized that a single misunderstanding can change an entire story, but one honest conversation can change it back again. The first voice finally spoke. We spent so much time wondering what might happen that we forgot to notice what has already happened. Those words settled into the room. Every face reflected the same realization. The connection everyone had been discussing had never disappeared. It had quietly continued growing through patience, respect, and hope. What looked uncertain from the outside had become stronger beneath the surface. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then another person opened a small notebook filled with observations collected over many months. Inside were simple moments that had once seemed too ordinary to matter. A kind gesture. A thoughtful decision. A quiet sacrifice. A moment of encouragement. One after another, these memories painted a picture no one had expected to see. Someone softly smiled and said, "We were searching for reasons to doubt, while the answers had been sitting in front of us all along." The atmosphere changed instantly. Every question that once created uncertainty was now becoming a reason for understanding. Every pause that once felt confusing now carried meaning. The meeting that had begun with hesitation was ending with clarity. For the first time, everyone agreed on something important. No future should be built on assumptions. Every future deserves the chance to be guided by truth. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. At that very moment, a message arrived from someone who had never attended either meeting. No one expected it. The note was short, but every sentence carried remarkable weight. Some stories are delayed because they are being prepared, not because they are being denied. The room fell silent again. Those words answered questions no one had been able to explain. Suddenly, everything fit together. The delays. The quiet moments. The unexpected distance. The unanswered questions. None of them had erased the story. They had simply prepared everyone to understand it more deeply. As the final pages of the notebook were closed, the people in the room looked at one another with completely different expressions than before. There was no longer uncertainty in their eyes. There was quiet confidence that honest conversations always reveal what hurried opinions cannot. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. If this journey has kept you wondering what happens next, remember to subscribe and share this story with someone who enjoys meaningful and inspiring journeys like this, because the next chapter reveals the one truth that everyone has been waiting to hear since the very beginning. As everyone quietly left the room, one final sentence remained behind, echoing in every heart. The real meeting was never about keeping anyone apart, it was about discovering whether the truth was strong enough to bring everything back together. And just beyond that door, someone was already walking toward the conversation that would change this story forever.